on the Afro mobile platform. Let me start with you, Councillor Benjamin Katana, for a dialogue body that was formed in 2009. Originally, that was funded by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy. In the last Chisanja, if we would say so, the last term, the last 5 years, you stood stern and said you were not going to participate in the iPod. And now, after the amendments, which seemed to exclude you in terms of financial inclusion for the monies coming in from the Political Parties and Organizations Act, now we see a change of events. To many, they believe that it's the money that is dragging you back to the iPod. What exactly is happening different now?
I think the many are those that have not been given sufficient information by you and other stakeholders. Okay. I think the starting point is that by the time we went to Parliament as NUP, what was there known as iPod is different from what we are dealing with today.
Okay.
In a sense, you would say that the iPod that we were talking about then died, and now we are dealing with a different arrangement.
Died altogether. After the donor pulled out the funds. Is that so?
Partly.
Okay.
Because it was a company limited by guarantee. What you would call a private initiative, not an initiative of the state and the creation of statute. And something similar to that arrangement was the National Consultative Forum, which has been an organ within the state structure of Uganda.
Yes.
Bringing together all political parties represented and unrepresented. NUP has been an active member of the National Consultative Forum. In fact, I'm the vice chairperson of the National Consultative Forum.
Yes.
What has happened now with the amendment of the law was to restructure the National Consultative Forum and have within the National Consultative Forum have an organ of parties that are represented in Parliament, and it has also been named iPod, and an organ for parties that are not represented in Parliament. Now, by virtue of that law, membership ideally is automatic.
For as long as you have
of where to belong.
Yeah.
But the law went ahead and prescribed that the Minister for Constitutional Affairs would then issue a statutory instrument prescribing the operations of these different organs, entry, exit, and things of that nature, which instrument has not come into existence. We would also like to say that the funding and support that NUP has been receiving from the taxpayers' money, the coffers of the state of Uganda, that every party that is represented in Parliament receives, did not have anything to do with membership of iPod, which I have clearly stated was a private initiative, or any other. But that funding...
But the conversation came from iPod.
No, the conversation preceded iPod. What came from iPod was increment of the money. From the 40 million that is allocated to every member of Parliament, going to the party every year, to 100 million.
Per member of Parliament?
Yes, going to the... So it is on the basis of representation. But of course, there has been a formula developed where 75% of the money now goes to NRM, and then the rest is shared by the other parties that are represented on numerical strength.
Yeah. Would we say you weren't part of iPod then because there wasn't any stringent measure that required?
No. Our objection to the arrangement was that the initiative of iPod, the whole idea of sitting together, was that let's close the deficit, the gap in our democratic space. That was the idea. Our argument has been that for all the years that this initiative has existed in Uganda, there is little to show that has been achieved in terms of closing the gap in our democratic space. That people continue to be tortured, people continue to be harassed, opposition political parties continue to be stifled and not allowed to do mobilization. So these have been our objectives, and they are still our objectives. Now, when I have talked about the funding that political parties receive, where the lion's share goes to the NRM. The NUP, when it got the little money it got, it went to work with that money and did a lot of things. You have seen our headquarters at Kavule, you have seen our offices in Iganga, you have seen our offices in Mbarara. And I think on account of that, some actors, especially in the NRM and the now Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, felt the desire to stop NUP from getting that support. But the law at the time could not give them an opening to do so. And they went and I think it's not restricted to the money. And I think by focusing that discussion on money is to miss the big picture. The big picture is the desire to cripple the organization in so many ways. I think you have heard on record the Minister of Justice saying these people are not going to be part of any conversation about the transition. That is not about money. So when these amendments were brought into law now, they found us when we were already members of the National Consultative Forum.
Yes.
So the question may be now that people should be saying is that, are we withdrawing from the National Consultative Forum?
No, the biggest conversation on iPod is that with that particular clause, that the money will also be upon participation and membership. That is the reason why many ask, are you joining because you felt you were being stifled and excluded?
And I can tell you, Mildred, that even if now we have written that letter, I can tell you that they will find reasons to make sure that we don't receive that money until these elections are over. So let nobody be deceived to think that that money has been withheld because we are not members of IPOD.
Have the instruments of operationalization come through from the minister?
Not at all. What Electoral Commission and the minister are now doing is mixing the old arrangement with the new arrangement without a legal basis. Because if you look at the law now as amended, there's nothing it says about the memorandum of understanding. Nothing, absolutely. Number two, so for the minister and the Electoral Commission to say that for parties to receive this support, they must have signed on that the memorandum of understanding, that is the creation of the private initiative. It has no legal basis. But that's why I said the conversation should be on persecution, that these people are just using the law to persecute the party and its millions of supporters.
Since when did you last receive money?
Before this law came into, I think in the first quarter.
And you're supposed to receive money quarterly?
Quarterly.
So in this quarter, you haven't been able to receive?
No, and other parties have.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to just kindly hold you. I will definitely be getting back to you on the reasons now we're seeing your willingness to be able to join the party. Let me get to Dr. Sirwambala. And I love that Council Katana is talking about the old arrangement of IPOD unnamed, and then the new arrangement now that we've input under National Consultative Forum, Political Parties and Organization Act. Wasn't this particularly targeting your members or your would-be members? Because in this case, as National Unity Platform with the representation in Parliament, they are your members in essence. Whether they are allowed to come or not, they're essentially your members, and they're being targeted by the law. That is what it looks like. What do you see it?
Well, Mildred, I think it would be speculative for me to say that the amendment was essentially targeting a particular political party. I wouldn't say so, because it's not explicit. Whatever is forwarded is a personal opinion. It's not an objective, thing out there.
But all the parties represented in Parliament currently are in the IPOD, right? They are participating. UPC, NRM,
No.
FDC.
When you say all parties in Parliament.
Represented in Parliament. Aren't they part of IPOD right now, as is, before even the law was amended?
Council Katana has
Except NOPE. Yes, that's it. That's what I'm looking at. Except NOPE. And that is why many believe that amendment was directly targeted to the National Unity Platform.
Well, I personally, I don't know. That's why I'm saying that I can't say that by implication or explicitly the law targeted that. But I want to believe that, you see, the thing here is that In economics, there is what they call the opportunity cost. That you make a decision, there will always be an opportunity cost.
Yeah.
And so, a party in parliament makes a choice, makes a decision, and say, we are going to be part of this arrangement on their own volition. There will always be the other side to the decision being made. But I want to dispel a notion that by law, NUP was co-opted or forced into IPOD.
That is what it is.
No, it's